Ladies and gents, welcome to CG Reaction, and this is Dead Body Hijinks. Basically, having fun with dead bodies. So, this is going to be a dark episode, I think. This is Salmonella Academy channel. So, this is a Sam's video. It's gonna be awesome, just like every other video he makes. I already reacted to tons of his videos. So, if you haven't seen it, check it out in the end cards or description. And check the channel, I guess. I don't know. So, yeah, I created a playlist too. So, check that out. So, dead body hijinks. Basically, people having fun with dead bodies, doing pranks, things like that. I don't know. So I don't know which, I don't know any cases of where that has happened, but I have heard about it. So let's see which events Sam brings it up. Let's watch it.
Thanks to Dashlane for sponsoring this video. Hey kids, whether you're a precocious young lad down by the swimming hole or a grizzled crime scene investigator, everybody's got some interest in dead bodies. Yes, from Weekend at Bernie's to Weekend at Bernie's 2 to Weekend at Bernie's 3 Revelations, stories about wayward corpses have certainly carved their niche in today's media. So, I thought I'd spin a few yarns about some real-life people who were kept out far past their expiration date. Our first tale follows one Elmer McCurdy. He was an outlaw during the twilight days of the Wild West. Thanks to his former life as a miner, McCurdy acted as the demolitions expert to his little posse, using nitroglycerin basically any time he had the faintest excuse to do so. Except, he was kind of a moron, so it didn't usually go quite as planned. Gotta say, after peanut butter and chocolate, my favorite combination of two things is probably gross incompetence and high explosive.
I never understand those people. There are some people who is always prone to, want to use more explosives all the time, playing with explosives. I'm like, man, do you understand that it's dangerous and you can kill yourself? People, have this suicidal tendency. There are lots of people. Just anything they do is just, near suicidal. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, they're dead. I never understand that. Like, what the hell, man? Are you a thrill seeker or just stupid?
Explosives. Example, in March of 1911, McCurdy's band of rabble-rousers found out that $4,000 were in a safe in an approaching train. They managed to stop the entire locomotive, I don't even know how you do that, break in, hold everyone on board hostage, and locate the safe. McCurdy steps up to plate, right? Gotta blast the thing open, except I guess the excitement kinda got to him, because he ended up using like way too much nitroglycerin, like inordinate amounts. Ended up completely destroying the safe and its contents, and what few silver coins they made out with were
whatever events you see in movies, shows, or even real events where somebody mentions using explosive to blow open the safe, first thing they say is you have to know how much to use it, otherwise you can damage things inside. That's the obvious thing. So that's why most people try to open the safe in other ways rather than blowing it up. Very rarely people try to blow safes open. Only times I can think of they do it without thinking much is when they are in extremely fast, extremely hurry. So at that time, rather than get caught, let's just blow it up. Something gets destroyed, whatever left, we're gonna take that. So if somebody's in hurry, they blow safes open. Otherwise, usually they try to open it some other way.
Literally melted to the frame of the safe and had to be peeled off. Anyway, he died in a shootout with police later that year, and the undertaker at the funeral home he was sent to couldn't find any next of kin on account of McCurdy being a rambling low-life varmint, so he just embalmed the hell out of him and said, "Hey boys and girls, want to see a dead criminal? Only one shiny nickel." And since LiveLeak wasn't around at the time, there weren't many places a kid could go to stare at a corpse for a while if he or she so desired, so it actually became a pretty popular attraction. Visitors would pay their dues by physically slipping the coin into the man's mouth, and the creepy-ass undertaker would come fish him out later, probably with bare hands all slowly and sensual-like. A few years passed.
First of all, small kids, most of them don't understand the concept of death. So I'm surprised that they're seeing that like, oh, look at the dead body. They're not going like, what the hell is that? Why isn't he moving? He's dead. What is dead? If some kid is really small, it will fuck him up really bad. I mean, that would have happened to some because some family member came to see it, and they brought the kid and kid like, what the, and he's screwed. Some of the friends came to see it, and they are a bit older than the kid. He came along with them and saw the dead body, and then he's screwed. Things like this really scars your memory for life and gives you psychological issues. It's not some small thing when seeing a dead body like that.
when a couple of guys showed up claiming to be McCurdy's brothers with a note from the local sheriff to back it up. They told the Undertaker they had permission to go bury McCurdy, so he reluctantly relinquished the body to the men. Except, these guys weren't his brothers. They were just a couple of crusty freaking carnies. They shipped the body off to Kansas to become an attraction in the traveling show. From here, McCurdy traded hands a few more times. At one point, he was exploited for this one guy's film about narcotics. It was like, yeah, this pill-popping degenerate got shot while trying to rob a pharmacy for more dope the other day. The body was super old by then, so people are like, wait, why is he all desiccated and flaky and gross? He just goes, yep, that's what happens when you do drugs, kids. Your fucking skin falls off. Stay above the influence. At some point in his journey, he ended up getting coated in wax and paint to look a little less rotty, before ending up in a warehouse in 1949. Here's the thing, he was in there alongside some actual wax figures, and after spending 19 years in storage, nobody knew he was a real corpse anymore, so he ended up getting sold in 1968 as a mannequin to one Spoonie Singh, owner of the Hollywood Wax Museum. He tried to lend the guy out a couple times during his stay, but people found him too gross or unrealistic looking for whatever purposes they had in mind. So he ended up getting sold again and used as a prop of a hanged man at the Pike Amusement Zone in their Funhouse ride, with zero knowledge that he was an actual dead criminal. It wasn't until 1976, 65 years after his death, that an episode of The $6 Million Man was being filmed at the complex, and a stagehand tried to move the prop around only to have its arm break off in his hand. He was like, ugh, lousy stiff.
Oh my god, imagine that. That will fuck you up, wouldn't it? It's just seeing, oh, it's just a prop, it's just some wax figuring and pulling arm. Oh my god, that's real bone inside. It's just, how gross would that be?
Wait a minute, that's curious. This mannequin's got human flesh and bones inside of it. Wait a minute. Uh-oh. The autopsy confirmed what everyone present at the time suspected. By this point, the body was so dried out and stale that it only weighed 50 pounds, which makes me think...
Alright, first of all, the guy didn't know what happened to the body and why is it there. So his first thought would be, somebody killed the guy and made him into this mannequin-looking thing to hide the murder. So, some serial killer or something. So, first of all, first impressions the guy would have is like, oh no, there would be a weird feeling inside your chest and not like, oh, I stumble upon to something really effed up here. Some serial killer did this, some, gang did this, oh no. So he, gave it to the police autopsy it, and then they realized, oh, wait a minute, this is just a stupid joke. People did that just because, he had nobody to, bury him. That's just effed up, man. Is there such thing as humanity, man? Doesn't matter who he was. Deserves a proper burial. Why play with him like that?
We should start a radical new fad diet where we just get people to mummify parts of their body. Like, Jenny, guess what? I just lost 30 pounds in 5 days. Wow, holy heck, how'd you do that? They call it the Egyptian cleanse. Anyway, with that, McCurdy was finally laid to rest back in his homeland of Oklahoma, and that film crew's lives were never the same again. Flashback to late 18th century.
Baloney.
There lived a physician by the name of Luigi Galvani. This guy was a big deal. He's the dude who discovered that, hey, animals got electricity in them. And his legacy still survives today in words like galvanize. One of his most famous experiments was the one where he used static electricity to make frog legs twitch on command. Around these parts, we call that the French salute. Haha. Stereotypes funny. Well, in 1803, his nephew, Giovanni Aldini, said, hey, that's pretty nifty and all, but what if we tried it on people? So the city of London was like, hey, now you're thinking with portals. One freshly executed criminal coming up. Aldini gathered a crowd and applied 2 diodes to the corpse's head, causing his face to scrunch up and one eye to flick open. Aldini was a showman though, he wanted some real action, so he then put the current through opposite points in the body, which made the whole thing flail around like Pinocchio in heat. Now today we know he was just exciting the dead muscles, right? But the people who were watching had no idea what was going on, so they were like, Jesus Christ, this guy's a fucking necromancer. Quick, go get grandma, maybe we can get in the will after all. Fun fact, this experiment actually ended up serving as inspiration for Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Yeah, I mean, we are all scientifically literate at some point today. Back then, people didn't know anything about muscle, exciting muscle tissues and things like that. So people just see that he's just touching with 2 things on the body, and the whole body is shaking, eyes are opening. People imagine what would they be thinking? Like, oh no, I thought this was not real, but apparently magic and things are real. They would be frightened.
which makes me wonder what other famous novels were based on real-life events. Was a white whale ever pursued by a vengeful sea captain? Was there actually a mentally handicapped migrant worker who liked hugging rabbits to death? Was there ever a human soul as profoundly asinine?
Well, the novel Dracula was inspired by that, TB outbreak from New England back in the day. The TB outbreak in New England, people thought they are vampires and they just did weird things. And that inspires the novel Dracula.
And willfully ignorant as Amelia Bedelia. God, I hate her glassy-eyed face so fucking much. I just want to mash it into a running waffle maker, be like, "Ha, isn't that ironic?" Grab her by her vacant fucking head, throw her out of a 747 and say, "Hey, why didn't you shoot yourself when you had the chance? Get it!" Anyway, one thing we learned today is the importance of reputability. And just
What the hell was that? Where'd that come from?
as you wouldn't want some dirty carnies jacking your stiff, phrasing, you certainly wouldn't want the same fate to befall your valuable online information. That's why you need to try Dashlane. Dashlane's been all over the place recently, and with good reason. In this day and age, cybersecurity and privacy have never been more important, and only code salmonella.
Yeah, people, go to dashlane.com/salmonella and support that channel. This was a good episode, man. I never understand that. I don't know if it's a inner moral compass of what, but I would never do the things people did here. Nobody's here to pick the body up, so I'm not gonna bury it. I'm just gonna make money from it and just use it as some kind of circus gig or something. That's just effed up, man. I don't care who the guy is. Once someone is dead, they deserve a proper burial, man. That thing was awesome, man. Exciting, the muscles, the entire body moves. Imagine being a kid and seeing that, like, oh no, hell no. People don't realize that psychological scars are too easy thing. Most people don't realize it, but when you're a kid, you see something that stays with you your whole life. You can't track it, but that has an effect in your life that you don't see it. People are really effed up. Averagely, lots and lots percentage of the world are fucked up in some way here and there because they saw something when they were a kid. This was a great video by Salmonella. Alright people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want me to react to some other video, comment down and check out my other videos that I reacted to. About Sam, Internet Historian, let me know, anything, unbiased history, I'm doing that. There are lots of other videos. Check out the description for all the videos or, check out the end cards. I'll see you next time.